This is the sounds of English, and this is our preparation class for Lautréamont. Lautréamont. Um, and this is one of the short stories in the collection known as Strange Occurrence in the Region of the Heart by Roman Rudin. Roman Rudin is the author, of course. Let's flick over to Kindle. Well, first, a look at the title page, perhaps. So this is the front cover, should say, of the book. It's on Kindle. Here we go. So, titled Lautréamont. At the very beginning of the century, when the internet had not yet been banned, a curious work came into my hands by an unknown inventor, who claimed that he had constructed an instrument which could transmit small, uniform objects any distance using existing lines of communication. In his article, the author described in detail the operating principles of this device, presented some drawings, and declared that the first experiments had been successful. He had managed to transmit a silver ingot of about 10 grams from his laboratory in France to his other laboratory in Argentina. The silver atoms had been turned in the transformer into streams of free electrons, protons, and neutrons, and passed through the wires to the same apparatus at the other end, where they were once again turned into atoms. The system of equations describing the process took up millions of pages, and it was hard for me to imagine what kind of genius this was that could fill up so many reams of paper. After a few years, when scientific and technological process had been tweaked and refined a bit more, and it had become possible to transmit products made of different materials in the same way, online trading reached its peak, and the level of well-being was measured by the size of individual transformers. The process of transmitting objects, which had previously taken years, Lautréamont's needed 10 years to transfer his silver ingot to Argentina, took only hours, then only seconds, as new transference technologies were invented. After Lautréamont became the richest man in the world, he began to control its destiny. Transformation predetermined a new phenomenon, compilation. There was no longer any need to move elementary particles over a great distance, since a method had been discovered of compiling any object out of elements that were already around. So piles of metals, polymers, and other materials were transformed in seconds into cars, microwaves, and refrigerators. The omnipotent Lautréamont declared the start of a new post-information age for civilization. Energy produced by mankind used to operate compilers on a global scale almost equaled the cost of lighting, heating, movement of all modes of transport, maintenance of life, and the production of all kinds of goods, including the compilers themselves. Only a few more years were needed before these processes would be made redundant, when all energy would be used for compilation. The law of the conservation of matter had uh, the law of the conservation of matter had an appended section known as Lautréamont's theorem, according to which matter exists in the form of information. 10 years went by after I first read Lautréamont's article, when the great inventor announced he had successfully transformed a living object for the first time. Lautréamont himself had become a laboratory rat, appearing in front of the public for the first time in many years at one of Buenos Aires' arenas, with his back to the enthusiastic audience, not showing his face. Further time elapsed, and the whole universe was presented in the form of mathematical equations and prepared for transformation or compilation. And so Lautréamont declared himself God. At every turn he was creating new universes in place of old ones, where the cosmos is changed according to the laws known only to him. As before, no one saw his face, and soon everyone stopped saying his name. The theorem appended to the law on the conservation of matter became known simply as its part 2. Not long ago, the great inventor banned the internet, and we can only guess what he might be doing now. Soon, everyone will forget the real state of things, and the greatest invention of our century will become another legend.